What makes this campaign so powerful and exciting is the way in which such a small number of people can have such a huge impact on our political system. This is because of our first-past-the-post system. Under this system, most parliamentary seats are safe seats. They always stay Labour or Conservative. But there are some that change hands. They're the key marginals. In those key marginals, most people always either vote Labour or Conservative. But there are some that change their minds. They're the floating voters. They're the ones that matter. 44 million people are registered to vote in this country. At the last election, 27 million people did. 12,000 counted. The floating voters in the key marginals. The rest of us may as well have stayed at home. At the next general election, 12,000 people will have absolute power over the political system. They will decide who governs Britain. The Labour candidates and the Conservative candidates will be knocking on those people's doors, asking for their votes, asking for power. But this time, those people are going to want something in return. Instead of making a choice between Labour or Conservative, we're going to get those voters to make a demand. They're going to put a price on power, a price on their votes, and the price will be the transfer of sovereignty from Parliament to the British people. Whoever goes for that first will win the election, and the other party will get wiped out. The pressure is to go first because you don't know what the other party is going to do. At the moment, Parliament makes the rules for us, but it also makes the rules for itself. That's going to change. We're going to decide how we're governed, as well as who governs us. We're going to bring about this transfer of sovereignty by adding two things to our political system. The first edition is going to be direct democracy, where people can initiate referendums and allow their fellow citizens to have a vote on them. That might sound a bit drastic, but in actual fact in Switzerland it's been running very successfully for 150 years. In Switzerland, any 7 ordinary citizens can go to the government and say, we want a referendum on this proposal of ours. And the government says, OK, off you go. You get 100,000 signatures from your fellow citizens and you can have a vote on it. So they go off, they get the 100,000 signatures, then they go back to the government says, OK, you've done it. We'll adopt your law then. Or they'll negotiate. They'll work something out between them and put a proposal forward which will be adopted by their parliament. But if that doesn't work, the bottom line is it must go to referendum. The people are sovereign, the people decide. We want that system in Britain as well. The second addition that we're demanding to the political system is a constitutional commission. Switzerland's quite a small country, only 7.5 million people, which is why they collect 100,000 signatures. In Britain you'd have to put the threshold up. It might be 400,000, it might be 500,000 signatures. But to collect 500,000 signatures for a proposal that perhaps reforms the political system could be quite difficult. But it's the political system we need to reform, so we need another process. To make it easier to push reforms through, we're going to lower the threshold through this approach to 100,000. Once you've collected your 100,000 signatures, you go to the Constitutional Commission. If they like your proposal, they push it forward to Parliament. If Parliament passes that proposal, everything's fine. If not, it automatically goes to referendum. So who's going to be on the Commission and how are we going to select them? Well, what we're proposing is that when we elect our MPs, we also elect a delegate. And that person will be someone who's not involved with political parties, but someone who's trusted in the community. It might be a local campaigner, it might be a head teacher, it might be a doctor, someone who's trusted. That will give us 646 delegates. And from themselves, those 646 delegates will choose 12 commissioners. So we end up with something like a citizens' jury. People who are knowledgeable, intelligent, experienced, but non-partisan. They will only be allowed to serve for 2 years. After that, the delegates select another 12. And that process continues until there's another general election. This combination of ideas means that sovereignty will be transferred from Parliament to the British people. We're not going to give them any choice in this. It's a forced transfer of sovereignty, and that makes it a revolution. But it's going to be a very British revolution. It's going to be about cups of tea and talking.